This is a reading from Richard Abbott's book In a Milk and Honeyed Land, a historical novel set around 1200 BC in the highlands of Canaan. The setting is a small town called Qetirah, part of an Egyptian province, but sufficiently remote and poor that the Egyptians take little interest in day-to-day activities. This section is in the middle of the book. Damariel and Qetirah are now serving as village priests and have been married for a while, but their relationship has become difficult. Damariel has just been away for a few weeks on a short retreat at the city of Hatsor, several days' walk to the north. He is just arriving back home, expecting to find Qetirah in the house. Kothar, who he actually meets, is a childhood friend of both of them. It was early evening, on the last day of the third week. It had rained a little at midday, but soon cleared, and now the sun was setting in an empty sky, off in the distance far away to his right. He had branched away from the ridge, heading across at an angle towards Qetirah. It was well away from the main track up to Gibeon and the other two towns, and he was not expecting to meet anyone. The silver brooch was in his pocket. He would give it to Qetirah a little after he got in, once they had passed the excitement and delight of meeting again. Damariel followed the little path down into a narrow valley, up the other side, and in the gathering twilight emerged by the tomb of his ancestors, close to the high place and his home. He quickened his pace, calling out as he crossed the open space between the stones, "Qetirah! Qetirah!" There was no answer from the house. No one else was nearby. "Qetirah! Qetirah!" He wondered if she'd gone down to Kinrath's house to stay. There was a single lamp burning just out of sight around the near corner. "Qetirah! Qetirah!" He could see shadows flickering to and fro as the wind stirred the flame. There was still no answer from the house. He rounded the corner towards the front door quickly, almost at a run. "Qetirah!" Kothar was sitting on one of the stools in the doorway, the drape flapping loosely behind him. He sighed with relief. "Kothar, whatever are you doing here? Do you need something?" "No, Kothar, where's Qetirah? I'll just go down to Kinrath's house for a few minutes if she's not here, but I'll be back if you need me for something." He half turned to go, then realised that Kothar had said nothing, had risen to his feet quite hesitantly and taken a step towards him. "Kothar, what is it? Are you all right, Shahati, the little ones? Why are you here?" "Damariel, I think you should come inside." He looked down the hill in the direction of Kinrath's house, lost in the gloom. "Right now? I mean, of course, if it's urgent, I'll do it straight away. But can it wait until I've just seen Kinrath and Qetirah? I can come down to Shahati's house straight away after that. I'll be almost there anyway. I just want to see Qeti first." He saw Kothar swallow in the lamplight, saw the muscles in his throat and face tighten. A sudden coldness gripped his own heart. He shivered, and felt all the organs in his body clenched together. He took a step towards Kothar. "Kothar, what's wrong? Where is Qetirah? Where is she? What's happened?" "Damariel, come inside. You must come inside, please." Damariel let Kothar take his arm, let himself be led into the first room of his own house. It was quiet inside and very tidy. Nothing had been prepared in the kitchen area for some time. It had been cleaned up and left uncharacteristically neat. His skin was cold and clammy, and his innards crawled with anxiety. He looked around again, opened his mouth to speak, and closed it without a word. Kothar had let go of him and was standing near him, watching him. "Where is Qetirah? Kothar, she's not here, is she? Look, tell me, where is she? Is she down at Kinrath's or your house? Not up at Gibeon, surely. Tell me that." Kothar shook his head, slowly, looking directly at him, with a very odd expression on his face. He felt his hands trembling with unfocused dread. "Damariel, take off the pack and sit down. Kothar, by all the gods, tell me where she is. I can't bear this. Look, just tell me. Tell me now. Is she ill?" Kothar shook his head again, bit his lip, and closed his eyes before replying. "Worse than that, Damariel. I'm so sorry." Damariel felt icy blood pound in his head and leaned back against the doorframe. He shook his head. No, don't say things like that. Just tell me where she is. Is she all right?" Kothar took a step towards him and gripped his shoulders. "Damariel, listen. She's not all right, not at all. She's not with me, nor Kinrath, Not your mother, nor Saniyahu, no one. Not a Gibbon. She's—" He stopped, as Damariel put a hand over his lips to stop him. He was shaking his head again and again. "Kothar, what are you saying? This can't be. No, surely not. Where is she?" Kothar closed his eyes for a second, then gripped Damariel's hand to take it away from his mouth and looked directly into his eyes. "Where is she? Damariel, she is in the tomb of her ancestors. She's not with us any more, brother. She's gone across to the other side. Damariel, forgive me, and may all the gods forgive me for saying it, but Damariel, she's dead." He gripped Damariel's arms as he staggered away from the doorway. The chill in Damariel's body had spread out, and he felt a cold pain in his heart and his throat. He was still shaking his head. "Look, Damariel, I'd cut my own heart out if it would help, but nothing will help. I wasn't there when she died, but I saw her afterwards." Very much later, after Kothar had gone, Damariel sat in the porch under his vine for a long time, looking across the stones of the high place, before gathering the torn halves of his kef and walking the slow path to the tomb of Kinrith's family. Sitting in front of her resting place, he took the knife he used for sacrifices and cut 2 long gashes down his arms and another across his chest. He stayed by the great stone that sealed up the tomb most of the night, lying full length with his face down on the flat stony space in front of it. The night went very slowly, and the chill in his heart swallowed up the chill from the cold, damp ground below, as the blood from his arms soaked into the soil. At one point, when the stars had wheeled above him for some hours, he found himself so racked with uncontrollable shivers that his own life seemed to be clinging only by a thread to the world on this side. For a little while, it seemed best just to give in to the desire to let himself slip across the boundary. It was only a little step, how well he knew that. Qetirah would be waiting just the other side. It was not far to go. He wondered, in the slow, heavy way that his thoughts allowed, if she would be angry about the extra time in Hatsor.